Picture this. The sky turns an eerie shade of green. The air grows still, heavy with anticipation. Then, in the distance, you hear it. A low, rumbling roar that grows louder with each passing second. A towering column of wind emerges, stretching toward the heavens, and before you can process it, the EF5 tornado touches down with catastrophic force. A storm so powerful it can obliterate entire towns. EF5 tornadoes, the deadliest and most intense storms to ever touch Earth, have caused destruction on an unimaginable scale. But here's a haunting question. Could we see another one? As science evolves, so does our understanding of these catastrophic storms. So, what's the likelihood of seeing an EF5 in our lifetimes? Are they really as rare as we think? And could modern technology be preventing the very conditions that spawn them? Join us on a journey as we uncover the truth behind EF5 tornadoes, from their terrifying power to the shifting conditions that might make them even more unlikely. Could we be witnessing the last of these destructive giants? What makes a tornado an EF5? Before we dive deeper into the rare and unthinkable nature of an EF5, we first need to understand what sets it apart from the other tornadoes we've all seen on the news. The Enhanced Fujita Scale, or EF scale, is the tool we use to classify tornadoes. Ranging from EF0 to EF5, this scale measures the wind speeds, damage patterns, and intensity of each storm. While an EF0 might have winds as low as 65 miles per hour, and an EF3 might reach around 165 miles per hour, an EF5 tornado packs winds greater than 200 miles per hour, with destruction so severe that buildings are flattened. Cars are thrown miles from their original location. Trees are stripped of their branches, with only stumps remaining. Imagine a car weighing over a ton, hurled through the air like a child's toy. Imagine entire neighborhoods erased, as if they never existed. That's the raw power of an EF5 tornado. But what exactly triggers this ultimate force of nature? To answer that, we have to dig into the science behind the storm, and why EF5s are considered to be the pinnacle of nature's fury. The perfect storm. What does it take for an EF5 to form? An EF5 tornado isn't just any storm. It takes the right environmental conditions, the perfect balance of forces, to create a storm that can turn deadly. Imagine the energy of the entire atmosphere coming together in a symphony of unrelenting wind, temperature gradients, and moisture levels. As the storm intensifies, it taps into warm air from the Gulf of Mexico and cold air from the Rockies or Canada. The warm air rises while the cool air sinks, creating massive air currents that fuel the storm's growth. And if the wind conditions are just right, the rotation in the storm begins to intensify. This spin, known as rotation, is what eventually leads to the formation of a tornado. But we're not done yet. For an EF5 tornado to form, the storm needs one more critical ingredient: atmospheric instability. What does that mean, and why is it so important? Despite the terrifying potential of an EF5, these storms are exceptionally rare. In fact, only about 59 EF5 tornadoes have been recorded in the US since 1950. So why don't they happen more often? What makes them so elusive? The complexity of conditions. First, the conditions required for an EF5 are incredibly specific and difficult to align. You need the perfect combination of warm, moist air, cold air aloft, strong wind shear, and intense instability in the atmosphere. And while these conditions are ideal in places like Tornado Alley, they don't always line up. In fact, even in Tornado Alley, an area famous for tornado activity, EF5s are much less common than EF4s or EF3s. Meteorological advances. Another reason for the rarity of EF5 tornadoes is the increasing ability of meteorologists to predict and warn of severe weather. With tools like Doppler radar and satellite imaging, scientists can track storms in real time and alert communities hours in advance. In fact, today, tornado warning systems save lives by giving people time to take shelter before a storm strikes. Storm weakening. Before reaching full force, even if the conditions for an EF5 tornado are met, these storms often lose strength before reaching EF5 intensity. As tornadoes travel over land, They may weaken due to cooler air or other meteorological factors, leading to a reduction in strength. Despite the extreme power of EF5 tornadoes, our forecasting advancements, combined with the rarity of their favorable conditions, make them a vanishing breed in today's weather systems. The role of climate change in tornado formation. While EF5 tornadoes may be rare today, there's a looming question that could change everything. Could climate change alter the conditions needed for tornadoes to form, making the possibility of an EF5 more likely in the future? More intense storms. As the Earth continues to warm, the atmosphere is becoming more moist and unstable, which could create even more powerful storms. Rising global temperatures are contributing to a wetter environment, increasing the potential for intense supercells. If these storms become more frequent and intense, we may see an increase in the severity of tornadoes, with the possibility of more EF5s forming. Unpredictable weather patterns. The increased unpredictability of weather patterns is another factor. Tornado seasons are starting earlier and lasting longer, and tornadoes are striking in regions outside the traditional tornado alley. What used to be a predictable phenomenon is now growing more erratic. Climate change may shift the entire paradigm of tornado prediction, but it could also introduce new patterns and threats we've never seen before. Can we ever be fully prepared for an EF5? Even if the chances of another EF5 are slim, we can never be fully prepared for the unpredictable force of nature. But thanks to modern technology, preparation is our first line of defense. Even if the chances of another EF5 are slim, we can never be fully prepared for the unpredictable force of nature. But thanks to modern technology, preparation is our first line of defense. Tornado shelters and safety measures. Across tornado-prone areas, storm shelters are being installed, providing refuge from the catastrophic winds of an EF5. These shelters are reinforced to withstand the extreme pressures of an EF5 tornado, saving lives when the worst happens. Stronger building codes and infrastructure. Communities are also becoming smarter about building codes and construction practices. Homes and public buildings are being designed to withstand the powerful winds of EF5 tornadoes, offering a resilient infrastructure to survive these storms. Even if the EF5 becomes less likely, we can still improve our resilience, creating safer communities through better construction, early warnings, and more. The survivors. Stories from the path of an EF5 tornado. An EF5 tornado doesn't just destroy buildings, it shatters lives, leaving behind a wake of destruction and despair. But amidst the ruins, stories of survival, resilience, and community strength emerge. These survivors show us the incredible human spirit in the face of unimaginable tragedy. We were just sitting at home when the sirens went off. We rushed into the basement, and seconds later, everything around us was ripped apart. I remember hearing the wind. It sounded like an airplane engine, so loud and terrifying. When we came out, the entire neighborhood was gone. Survivors like this one often share the frightening reality of what it's like to be in the path of an EF5 tornado. The destruction is incomprehensible, but their stories show us the strength it takes to survive and rebuild. But beyond the personal, there's something more we learn from these experiences: the power of community. After the destruction, entire communities come together to rebuild. In the face of such devastation, hope prevails. From this unity comes the chance for families to pick up the pieces, rebuild their lives, and remember the storm. As we delve deeper into the human side of tornado destruction, we'll see how these powerful storms not only change the physical landscape, but also the emotional one, forging a bond between survivors and their communities. The future of tornado research. Will we ever be able to prevent EF5 tornadoes? While EF5 tornadoes remain rare, the possibility of one devastating an area is never far from our minds. The big question remains: can we stop an EF5 tornado, or at the very least predict it with enough precision to save lives? With the ever-advancing field of meteorology and tornado research, scientists are pushing the boundaries of what's possible. The science of tornado prediction has come a long way since the early days of storm chasing, but there's still so much more to uncover. Advanced radar and early detection. Tornado scientists are working on cutting-edge technologies like the Doppler radar system, which can detect a tornado's formation before it even touches the ground. New radar systems, like the phased array radar, promise faster and more precise tracking of tornadoes, giving communities more time to prepare and take shelter. Radar systems are getting more accurate every year, and this technological revolution is transforming how we track and predict tornadoes, giving meteorologists a clearer picture of storm behavior and wind patterns. The role of artificial intelligence and machine learning. Another exciting development is the use of artificial intelligence, AI, and machine learning to analyze vast amounts of weather data. AI models are being used to predict the likelihood of severe storms forming, even detecting tornado signatures before they become visible on traditional radar. By analyzing weather patterns and comparing them to past tornado data, AI could eventually improve prediction accuracy and provide early warnings for EF5 strength storms. Impact of global warming on tornado behavior. As we've already discussed, climate change plays a major role in altering tornado activity. As the planet warms, scientists predict that tornadoes will become more unpredictable and possibly more intense. However, they also warn that it's hard to say whether climate change will make EF5s more common, or if other factors, like technological advancements, will mitigate that risk. With innovative technologies and global climate models on the rise, the future of tornado research looks promising. But will it be enough to prevent an EF5 from ever occurring again? Or will we always live in the shadow of these destructive storms? The EF5 tornado, once the ultimate embodiment of destruction, is a storm of nature's own making. These storms are becoming less likely to strike with full force. Through preparation, innovation, and a deeper understanding of our changing climate, we are learning to live in harmony with these dangerous forces. We may never completely stop them, but we can work toward minimizing their impact, protecting lives, and rebuilding stronger communities. If you enjoyed this deep dive into EF5 tornadoes and the science behind their formation, make sure to hit that subscribe button, like this video, and share it with friends who love learning about nature's most powerful forces. Your support helps us continue making content that's both exciting and educational. And before you go, if you're interested in learning how to make money on social media, check out the link in my bio.